Hello, my name is Robin Kay. I'm a professor in the Faculty of Education at UOIT, and for this EdMedia presentation, I'm going to be looking at exploring the use of mathematics apps for elementary school students. In terms of elementary school attitudes toward the use of tablets, the results have been mixed. Some students have been very positive, others have been neutral or negative. And the same result has occurred with learning performance and the use of tablets for mathematics at the elementary school level. The results have been mixed. There are several gaps in the research that this study addresses. First, the focus on a lot of the research has been on the tablets, but not on the use of the mathematical apps. And we would argue that that is critical. It's not the tablets or the technology that's important, but the mathematical apps that are used and the quality of those apps and what they're used for. The reliability and validity of attitude measures from many of the studies assessing student attitudes towards tablets have not been established. So it's important to have good assessment tools. And finally, learning performance measures have focused on general learning and not specific aspects like understanding, remembering, or application skills. So there are two research questions for this study. First, what are elementary school students' attitudes towards the design, engagement, and learning value of mathematical apps? And second, what is the impact of using mathematics apps on elementary school students' learning, and specifically focusing on remembering, understanding, and application skills? 127 elementary school students participated in the study, 67 boys and 54 girls, in grades 4, 5, and 6, relatively evenly distributed. The mathematics apps that we used were selected from Explore Learning. They're also known as gizmos, and we used 5 apps for the study, focusing on fractions, decimals, percents, probability, and stem and leaf plots. 6 teachers received a half day of training on selecting, using, and evaluating mathematics apps. They then had students fill in a pretest. They used the apps from 20 to 90 minutes and then had their students fill in a post-test plus an attitude scale. The attitude scale used in this study was created by Kay in 2011, where solid reliability and validity metrics were established. In this scale, 3 items focused on design, 4 items focused on engagement, and 3 items focused on learning. There were 2 open-ended questions about students' likes and dislikes. The learning scale was based on Bloom's taxonomy, and a pre-designed test was used from the apps, and items were categorized into 3 specific areas: remembering, understanding, and application. So let's look at the results. With respect to the design value of the apps, elementary school students thought that the apps were relatively easy to use, that the graphics were good, and the colors looked good. And this was a scale out of 5, so on average, students rated these features 4 out of 5. And most agreed that these features were present. With respect to the engagement value of the mathematical apps, most students felt that the app made learning fun, they liked using the app made learning more interesting, and they would like to use the apps again. And again, most agreed with these statements. With respect to the learning value of apps, a slightly different picture emerged. And these 2 items, the app helped me to learn and the app helped me to understand better, students generally rated the mathematics apps high. Regarding the learning value of the apps, most students felt that the app helped them learn and that the app helped them understand the topic that they were learning. However, students were relatively neutral about the ability of the graphics and animations to help them learn. So specifically, those specific features didn't necessarily help them learn, but overall they felt that the app helped them learn. Although these ratings were slightly lower than the ratings for design and engagement. In terms of learning performance, students' knowledge increased on all 3 knowledge areas. Specifically, remembering, students' grades jumped 61%, and for understanding and application, they jumped about 20%. These results are significant. However, it is clear that remembering that category was significant. And perhaps that's not surprising given that these students are grade 4, 5, and 6 and may be focusing on basic mathematics concepts. In terms of the qualitative responses, there were four areas that emerged. Some students found the instructions confusing. Some students had a lack of interest in the apps. Some students felt the challenge level was either too easy or too hard, and others found that it was difficult to follow concepts through using the apps. Now, these were a minority of students, but it's important to consider these challenge areas. This study offered an overview of elementary school students' attitudes towards mathematics apps and the impact of mathematics apps on learning performance. However, there's clearly a number of details that need to be addressed, and to address them, we advise using focus groups, interviews, and something called Think Aloud protocols. The last idea involves students thinking aloud while they're using the apps so that we can understand specific features and actions that bring about students' attitudes towards the apps and that affect learning. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us at these email addresses. Thank you for listening.